Hi, my name is Judy Collins, and I'm the Executive Director of the United States Staffing Association. And I really want to thank Bruce Putman here today to talk with me. And Bruce has been in the business, I think, over 25 years and has just a wealth of knowledge. He is a consultant to the search and staffing industry, and he is the former president and CEO of A Plus Careers, A Plus Medical, and A Plus Staffing. So Bruce has really done a lot of different verticals and has been in the industry and is an expert really in how to take your business to the next step. And also, Bruce was the 2018 chairman of NAPS, which is the National Association of Personnel Services. So, Bruce, would you like to introduce yourself and say a little bit more about you and what you do?
Well, thank you for having me, Judy. This is great. I've known you for many years, so I'm excited to be here with you today. I did spend 10 years on the National Association of Personnel Services, culminating in being the chairman, and have been 25 years plus in the industry, and before that, 17 years in the industrial product industry. So I do have a long career history, and I'm excited to share any of that experience with you that I can today. I would make one little teeny correction. It's actually A1 staffing, A1 careers, and A1 medical staffing.
Oh,
and I'm in the Kansas City market, but we've been in regional in 5 or 6 states around the Midwest for a number of years.
yes. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. So thank you for correcting me with that. And that's right. And you're based out of Kansas City. So I know that you've opened up offices and multiple locations. Can you tell us what kind of challenges did you face on that market, and how did you really manage those different offices all then coming out of KC, Kansas City?
Oh, absolutely. And it was a big challenge. But as you know, the staffing industry is the most people business ever, since we have no product, we have no boxes, we ship nothing. It's all about people. And the challenge of managing remotely into multiple locations was built around having good leadership. So, for instance, when we wanted to enter a market outside of Kansas City, the key was to find 1 or 2 base accounts and a very strong person to open that location for us. And as we went in deeper into the market with additional accounts and added additional staff, that initial person was almost always elevated into a supervisor or a management role. Even if there's only 2 people, it's essential that those people be on the same page. And so for us to have one of them as a leader, a supervisor manager, taking direction from me and providing direction to the team to ensure that their game plan was being executed was what was critical. But it was all built around having very strong leadership in each market that we extended to, either through acquisition or in many cases just organically by just opening the doors.
So did you travel a lot? Did you actually physically go to these offices on a set time frame, or how did you manage all of that? Just all remotely?
No, I was in transit a lot. Initially, we were in Kansas City with 1 location, bought a small location in Missouri. I was in the Kansas side, added 2 others. And within 2 years, 1998, 1999, we had 4 locations in the greater Kansas City area, which created essentially full market coverage for Kansas City. And I would visit those other 3 locations beyond the one that I officed in a couple times a week. And then ultimately we expanded beyond that, south into Emporia, Kansas, slightly west at Topeka, Kansas, then up into Iowa, Nebraska, the Des Moines area, Omaha, 2 or 3 outlying areas, Red Oak, Nebraska City, Winterset. And I was up in Iowa and Nebraska at least once a month, sometimes more often, but daily communication by phone, by email, and face-to-face communication as often as possible. I am a very strong believer in face-to-face communication. I know that texting is important, and it's what a lot of the newer folks to our industry do daily, and there's a role for that. And email, there's certainly a role for that. But I believe in face-to-face communication and telephone communication as often as possible to really have an exchange of ideas and come to a common understanding, rather than texting back and forth for 2 hours, never really getting anywhere. So I often visited, and I really felt that was very important to our success.
Yes, and I agree to you. There's nothing better, I think, than meeting somebody face to face, especially in that very first period of time. So they know you. I used to say to people, I want you to call them, I will go see them. I want them to hear your voice. I want them to get to know you. and then that is just the essential building that really is so important at the very beginning, I think, of any relationship. So, and I know that also you worked on different verticals where it was contract to hire, and direct placement. Was that hard to bring on those different verticals?
Really, they all supported each other. When we started the business in January of 98, we serviced light industrial and clerical. And that was my background for 17 years in industrial supplies, electrical supplies, 10 years with General Electric, 7 years with a couple other companies. So that was a very logical place for me to start. But as we got into it, about 5 years, we opened up A1 Careers and ran that parallel to A1 Staffing. And we opened up in the Kansas City area and then ultimately in the Denver area. And I would travel out to Denver frequently. Getting back to that previous question, the travel is not only to see my people, but to meet with the major accounts. I wanted to get unfiltered communication with our major accounts frequently because I never wanted to have a major account get away from us as a surprise. Surprises are almost always negative. So, but the vertical market into careers allowed us to expand our contract to hire business more into additional direct hire, expand the clerical administrative into finance and accounting. And it wasn't for another 10 years until 2010 that we got involved in healthcare staffing, which is the one that I just recently sold to my partner, A1 Medical Staffing. But the verticals all added up. Healthcare I got into because my mother was a nurse, and I had a very fond place in my heart for healthcare and for the idea that was a market that was going to grow exponentially. It had to because I'm a baby boomer, and we started retiring. And 45 to 65 people born in that 20-year span, the largest generation that we've had to date. And they were starting to retire, and we are now. We're right in the middle of it. And therefore, there was going to be an increased need for healthcare, and the staffing of healthcare, there was a shortfall all the time. It hasn't gotten any better. So I just knew there was a great market there, and it's been a fantastic expansion of the vertical markets for us.
You have good instincts on where the market is going, and I think just looking and being rational and looking at the business, that is an important part when you get that gut feeling and just know that is a market that you want to grow. If other maybe small to mid-size owners, staffing firm owners have any questions, can they get in contact with you?
I'd love to take their questions at any time. I've met so many people in the industry over the years through NAPS, through the Missouri-Kansas Staffing Association that you've also been a part of. And that's one of the greatest things that ever for an owner is to have those relationships and to be able to answer those questions and to learn from each other. If you're an owner of a small business, you don't have a peer. Maybe you have a partner. I did in healthcare, but I did not in the other businesses. You don't have anybody to bounce things off of other than your own associates, and they're looking to you for guidance. So please do have them contact me, 816-392-2730. Or BJ Putman at AOL, BJ Putman at A-1 Medical Staffing. I'd love to take their questions. I'd love to help in any way, mentor in any way that I can. It's in my blood. I've got to stay with it.
Well, and that's right. I forgot to mention MKSSA, Missouri-Kansas Search and Staffing Association, which I know I've been a part of, for a long time. And I used to come up to your meetings and
Sure.
see you, and the MKSSA is a great group of recruiters, great group.
Very solid organization, and it plays a wonderful role in terms of training and learning and relationships, both the national and on the local or state level.
Well, all right, Bruce, thank you so much for your time. And I really appreciate all the help and guidance that you can give us. So
thank you so much for having me, Judy. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye now.